Hey everybody, CalebCast number 29 for Sunday, January 24th, 2009. Just got back from the prayer rally for local churches for the Tyler, East Texas community. It was really good, a really good time of just getting together with other churches and praying together and feeling united and community among churches in East Texas. It was really cool. But what I wanted to CalebCast about was this really weird exchange that happened as I was about to leave. So I was standing around talking to a few people, and this guy comes up to me and pulls me aside and says, "Hey, I need to ask you a few questions." So I was like, "Okay." So it was really kind of weird because, why would he need me to step aside to ask me some questions? And he said, "I'm with the ATF, and we are investigating the arsons that happened in this area, and I need to get your information." And I said, "Okay, can I see your badge?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So he pulled out his badge and showed it really quick, and I said, "Wait, hang on just a second." And I grabbed it, and not grabbed it, but I just, pulled it over and looked at it really close, and, it looked legitimate. And I said, "All right." So he said, "I need to ask you questions because I saw you walk up here, and I've seen you've been taking pictures," which I was taking pictures, and you fit the description of someone who was seen at the Church of Christ Science the night of the fire. And I said, "Oh, okay." At this point, just really, it happened really fast, so it was really kind of weird. And I said, "Oh, okay, no problem." And I said, so he said, "I need to see your identification." And I said, "Okay, yeah." And he said, "Were you at the church last Sunday night? Were you at the Church of Christ Science last Sunday night?" And I said, "No, I wasn't. As a matter of fact, I was at my church at that time." And he said, "Okay, let me get your name and your address." And I said, "All right, yeah, sure. But just to be sure, can I see your identification?" So the guy pulls out his ID and shows it to me, and I looked at it pretty closely, and it looked to me like I would think an ATF agent's ID looked, and he was very nice about it. He said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." So he showed it to me, and I said, "Okay, whatever." And then I pulled out my driver's license and gave him my driver's license, and he just basically copied down my information. He said, "You fit the description of someone who was seen at the fire." And then he asked me, after looking at my address, he said, "So is Wall Street around here, or Wall Avenue, is that around here?" And I said, "Yeah, it's actually just a couple blocks over that way." And he was like, "Oh, okay. Let me get your phone number as well." So I gave him my phone number, and he said, "Okay." And then he asked me a question about someone else that he had seen in there. He asked if I knew a person who was shooting video, if I knew that person, and if I knew who they were shooting for. And I said, "No, I saw who you were talking about, but I didn't notice. I don't know them." And he said, "Okay, well, who are you? Are you taking pictures for a paper, or?" And I said, "No, I'm taking pictures for a church." He said, "What's the church?" And I said, "Grace Community." And I told him this camera is George Montalvo's camera, and he can find him if he wants the pictures. And he said, "Okay, we may need those pictures in our investigation." He said, in the investigation, and the guy's wearing plain clothes. That's the other thing. That's the reason I was asking him so many questions. Is he's not wearing any kind of uniform or anything. And said, "Okay, in our investigation, it's typical to for the person to show back up at these kind of meetings and get together. So we just wanted to investigate and look around." So as far as I know, I was the only person that he talked to, and he took my information down, and so hopefully he was a legitimate ATF agent. I just called their office here, and they're closed for the day, but I'm going to call tomorrow and check it out. But wow, it was crazy. Like, even as I'm thinking about it now, I was like, kind of nervous. Not that I really thought that, I was, I didn't have an alibi, because I was at church, and there's probably at least 30 people that saw me at church that night. So just weird. It was one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to me. So if you're looking for the church arsonist, he fits my description, which is 6'3", 240 pounds, and dark brown hair. That's about all I know about that arsonist. CalebCast number 29. Thanks for watching. Bye.